Good morning, everybody. Pastor Randy Fry, Gower Christian Church, direct from Studio 2B in the sprawling Gower Christian Church media complex. We just heard a little bit from one of our great accompanists. That was Eric House on the Gower Christian Church Sanctuary organ playing Revive Us Again. And so glad that you're with me this morning. So I think we're going to do a little interesting Bible notes this morning. I really didn't wake up with a burning issue, or at least something I hadn't dealt with already for a while. So a little while back I was reading through the book of Nehemiah, and this little tidbit stuck out to me. Nehemiah, along with Ezra, they were involved in rebuilding Jerusalem after the second exile in Babylon. We kind of forget about that one, but it was really important, especially for the prophets. They talk about that exile a lot. And Jerusalem was destroyed. The temple was destroyed. I mean, literally, razed to the ground. The walls are destroyed, so the city of David was without protection, and so the people have been allowed to return finally after several decades in exile, and they're finally getting around to rebuilding the walls and the temple, and they're resettling Jerusalem. People are returning, and they're putting things back together again, and they're also reorganizing worship. Kind of some of the traditional responsibilities of the Levites and the priests and some of those things, they'd lost track of that, and so they're reorganizing it. And as Nehemiah sets out the plans or reorganizes the priests and the Levites, I ran across this verse. And the Levites, Yeshua, Binnui, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, and Mattaniah, who with his brothers was in charge of the songs of thanksgiving. And I just love that. There was a whole section of Levites, and they were in charge of thanksgiving. That was their job, to make sure that songs of thanksgiving were sung. And they picked those songs, but they had worship people assigned specifically for the songs of thanksgiving, and that just grabbed my attention. That thanksgiving was so important that a section of Levites in this reorganized Jerusalem and reorganized temple worship would be specifically assigned specifically for Thanksgiving. And I think that says something important about us right now. I think there's in some ways we can say we are in the midst of lots of rebuilding, politically, spiritually, culturally, especially from the effects economically and culturally on from the coronavirus pandemic. And we can't neglect the role of Thanksgiving. We get so focused on the negative stuff, and I feel like I've been talking a lot about that. We can't neglect the important role of giving thanks, of looking at our day and our life and what's happening in our world, and focusing also on Thanksgiving. People are doing good things. The Lord is blessing still in a lot of ways. We certainly know that. We've experienced that at Gower Christian. In the midst of this, there's been many, many reasons for us to be thankful. Jesus, in a lot of his praying that's recorded, his first words out of his mouth are, "I thank you, Father." The first thing he does is express thanksgiving to God the Father. And he didn't have an easy life. We all know that. He had a very challenging life, and was always dealing with some form of opposition or other challenge. But oftentimes in his prayers, as recorded in the Gospels, he starts out with, "I thank you, Father." And I think that's a great pattern for us right now. Yeah, there's lots of stuff that needs to get better. But it's so important for us to maintain our hopefulness and our perspective, to stay rightly oriented in the world, to make sure we are not neglecting to be thankful. So I'm putting myself in charge of songs of thanksgiving this week. We're going to give thanks in spite of whatever is going on, and I hope that you will take charge with some thanksgiving as well. Like I mentioned on Tuesday, kind of a standard ministry week for us. Worship, of course, Sunday morning at 10:30. In live and in person in the sanctuary, if you so choose and feel comfortable doing so, or online through our Facebook or YouTube channels. But I do want to highlight once again the spaghetti dinner that the Masonic Lodge is putting on. It's a fundraiser for the Bulldog Buddies backpack food program. Very important. Jenny Busby and several volunteers send home food to several families. I think it's 40 or 50. It's quite a lot. They send home food for a significant amount of food to families in need every single weekend. And of course that requires resources. The Masonic Lodge is doing a spaghetti dinner. It's carry out, pick up, carry out only. Noon to 6 at the Masonic Lodge. Free will offering. And every dollar that's given is matched by the Grand Lodge of Missouri. So your giving is it's very impactful because it gets doubled. And they've raised enough money in the past to help fund that program for a couple of years. So I'm hoping for the same again this year. So please remember, spaghetti dinner fundraiser for Bulldog Buddies this Saturday from noon until 6. That's all I have. God bless you. Until we meet again in person or online, I bid you peace.